Good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new lesson, that is the Sermon at Benares. It is given in class 10th NCERT first flight book. So, first of all, about the writer. Betty Lewis was born in Shannon, Mississippi on September 3, 1927. Her parents were Mr. P.C. Renshaw and Mrs. Lillian Renshaw. She went on to obtain her Bachelor of Arts degree from Mississippi College and later a Master's of Arts from Mississippi University for Women. She was herself an active missionary worker and was always there to visit and support them in every possible way. Betty was dedicated to serving God and loving others and often prayed that God would use her gifts for His glory. Now, about characters. Buddha. Gautam Buddha is the founder of religion Buddhism. He was a spiritual teacher who had gained enlightenment of seeing the world's pains and greed. Buddha preached that human life is very short and it is full of sorrows and pains. He cleared that our belief that life is full of troubles and pains. Everyone on this earth has to die one day. Next character is Kisa Gotami. Next is Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami was a young mother whose only son had died. She was a loving and caring mother, but at the same time, she became selfish and wanted to get her son back after death. Now, introduction about the story. The story, The Sermon at Benares, highlights the early life of Gautam Buddha, who left all his amenities and worldly pleasures behind and went on searching for salvation. After 7 years of wandering here and there, he finally attained enlightenment under the peepal tree at Bodh Gaya. After this, he delivered his first sermon at Benares, a city in Uttar Pradesh. It is one of the holiest cities. Through his sermon, he made the lady Kisa Gotami realize that the human beings are mortal and death is inevitable. He also told her that one should not get upset about what is happening, as it is only increasing the sufferer's pain and sorrow. Now, the summary. Gautam Buddha was the son of King Shuddhodhana. He was called Siddhartha Gautam in his childhood. An ascetic named Kala Devala predicted that young prince would either become a great Chakravarti or become a supreme religious leader. The king Shuddhodhana prays for his son to be a great king and not to become an enlightened being. You should prevent him from leaving the palace grounds and he should never suffer. People who are not happy with their life should not come in front of Siddhartha. These were the verdicts given by the saint to King Shuddhodhana. He told these things that the king would have to take precautions, all these precautions. King Shuddhodhana announced that unhappy people would not meet King Shuddhodhana announced that unhappy people would not meet Siddhartha. Religious things should not come in front of his eyes. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures. For 4 years later, at the age of 16, he returned home to marry a princess. They had a son and lived for 10 years as befitted royalty. He never suffered. He was always prevented from leaving the palace grounds. At about the age of 25, the prince therefore was shielded from the sufferings of the world while out hunting, chanced upon a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. These sights so moved him that at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment concerning the sorrows he had witnessed. He wandered for 7 years in search of enlightenment. Finally, sat down under a peepal tree where he vowed to stay until enlightenment came. enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree. He began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he became known as the Buddha, the awakened, or the enlightened. Now, Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Benares, most holy of the dipping places on the river Ganges. Kisa Gotami had an only son and he died in her grief. She carried the dead child to all her neighbors. Now, what happens in the story? We are going to study that later in the later part. Thank you. The Sermon at Benares. Gautam Buddha began life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautama in northern India. So I have already told you that Buddha was in his childhood called Gautam Siddharth he was called. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures for 4 years later, and 4 years later, he returned home to marry a princess. Then they had a son, and they lived for 10 years as befitted royalty. At about the age of 25, the prince, heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world. While out hunting, he met a sick man by chance, and then an aged man, then a funeral procession. Funeral procession means a dead body taken by other people for finally means for to bury finally, and finally a monk begging for alms. These sights so moved him that at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment, and all these sights shook him so much that he went out for salvation. He wanted enlightenment, and for that he went into meditation. Concerning the sorrows he had witnessed, he wandered for 7 years and finally sat down under a peepal tree where he took an oath to stay until enlightenment came. And after that, after 7 days, he got the same and he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree. It means the tree of wisdom. Bodhi means Gyan, wisdom. So the tree was known as the tree of wisdom. And he began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he came known as the Buddha because got knowledge under the Bodhi tree. That's why he was renamed Buddha, the awakened or the enlightened. The Buddha preached his first sermon, means preaching, at the city of Benares, most holy city of India, because it is at the bank of river Ganga. That sermon has been preserved and is given here. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom about one inscrutable kind of suffering. Inscrutable means something which cannot be understood. Kisa Gotami had an only son. There was a woman, she had a son. The name of the lady was Kisa Gotami. And the son died. And in that grief, the lady carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine. And the people said she has lost her senses. People started calling her mad, and they told her that the boy is dead. Why are you in the need of medicine? There is no use of medicine now. But the lady was not satisfied. At length Kisa Gotami met a man who replied to her request, and at last Kisa Gotami met Siddhartha, who replied to her request. He said, I cannot give you medicine. Thee means you. He said, I cannot give you medicine for your child, but I know a physician who can. That person said that means the person whom she met, he said that I cannot give you the medicine, but I know the physician who can help you out. And the girl said, pray tell me, means I just beg you, please tell me the name of that person. I go to the man and ask for the help. And the man replied, go to Sakya Muni, the Buddha. He said, go to Sakya Muni, the person who has knowledge, the Buddha. Kisa Gotami repaired to the Buddha and cried. Then she went to Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. Then Kisa Gotami requested Lord Buddha to help her out. Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seed. And when the girl in her joy promised to procure it, when the lady promised, okay, I'll get it for my child, Buddha added, he continued, he said, the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. Poor Kisa Gotmi now went from house to house, and the people pitied her, means they were full of mercy, and said, here is mustard seed, take it. But when she asked, did a son or daughter or father or mother die in your family? They answered her, alas, the living are very few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest grief. This was the thing that they told to Kisa Gotmi. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. Means in every house somebody had died, had lost someone. Kisa Gotmi became very weary, means tired and hopeless. Sat down at the wayside, watching the lights of the city as they flickered means timtimana, so flickered up and were extinguished again. They were extinguishing and coming again, lighting up again, means at last the darkness of the night reigned everywhere. Then at last there was total darkness, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. Means the people will take birth and it was the day, and when they die it is night. So everybody who has taken birth has to die one day. Death is common to all, and she thought to herself, how selfish am I in my grief? Death is common to all, yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path. Valley of desolation means an area which is filled with deep sorrow. So she said that this world is full of so many sorrows. There's a path that leads the person to immortality who has surrendered all selfishness. Means the person who will surrender to all selfishness can get God. The Buddha said the life of mortals, means all human beings, all people who are living in this world, who have to meet one day, who have to see God, who have to die one day in this world, is troubled. All mortals have to face troubles and turmoils. And brief and combined with pain, means our life is full of sorrows and pains. For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. Nobody is there who can avoid death. वांसासि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नन्यानि संयाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णा नन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Means the person who has taken birth has to die one day. We all have to die. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. Means we all have to die one day. Change is the law of nature. As ripe fruits are early in danger of falling, means the people who get mature are old, they die first. So mortals when born are always in danger of death. Everybody. As ripe fruits are early in danger of falling, so mortals when born are always in danger of death. Means whosoever has taken birth has to die one day. We all are actors. We play our part and then we have to exit. Same is the thing that has been told by Shakespeare in the play As You Like It. As all earthen vessels made by the potter and in being broken, so is the life of mortals. As the earthen pots also destroy one day, same is the case with the human beings. We all are mortals. We all have to die. Both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. आया है सो जाएगा, राजा रंग फकीर, कोई सिंहासन चढ़ चला, कोई बांधे जंजीर. Means those who all are there, whether you are fool or wise, whether you are king or poor, we all have to face death one day. Of those who overcome by death depart from life. A father cannot save his son, nor kinsmen their relations. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting, means expressing their grief deeply, one by one mortals are carried off like an ox that is led to the slaughter. Means we all have to die, nobody can escape it. So the world is afflicted with death and decay. This world is full of death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve. This is the thing. If you realize this thing very early, it means you are wise. So, the wise people do not grieve, do not feel pain, knowing the terms and conditions of the world. Not from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. If we will start weeping, oh, we will have to die, we will have to lose our loved ones, then this is not going to just give you peace. This is not going to give you peace. No. On the contrary, his pain will be greater and his body will suffer. Yes, it's very true. He will make himself sick and pale. So, the best thing is that you must realize that one day we all have to die. We have to lose our loved ones. Yet, the dead are not saved by his lamentation. The dead, if you will cry a lot, it is not going to save the dead people. No. He who seeks peace should draw out of the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. Means if you want peace, you should avoid all these things. You should be indifferent to all these things. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed, calm, will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrow will become free from sorrow and be blessed. The person who has got the height of the place, he is free from all the sorrows, he is indifferent to all these things, only that person can gain peace. That's all, children. I hope you have all understood this lesson very well. Please like, share my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you, children.